Hey everybody, my name is Tuffy Maggio and I am here with my co-host Jason Santana, and this is the Fourth Wall Effect, brought to you by Metaversity, your number one source for Metazoo competitive and collectible news. How's it going, Jay?
Oh, same old, going great. Going great. I'm actually feeling super refreshed finally. Got to catch up on some sleep after our huge event over at King of the Chill in Fort Worth, Texas. Because for those that don't know, by the time I got to that event, I was on 2 hours of sleep after driving for somewhere close to probably 18, 19 hours. And yeah, I was tired like a dog for sure, for sure. So now I'm ready to go. I'm well rested, ready for the podcast, ready to get into it. How's things with you?
Not too bad. I think I've recovered a little bit. I mean, I didn't drive 18 hours or anything like that, but I don't think I really got too much sleep from that. I think it was Thursday. Thursday is the last day that I had any kind of sleep. So, it was a pretty long weekend, but it was a lot of fun. And
Yeah,
yeah,
we had gotten to the location at the hotel, the Aloft at 6:30. I had just gotten 1 hour of sleep, then drove 4 hours to get to the Aloft, and yeah, we met each other up and we started setting up from the very beginning. Set up the computer, the audio, um, the lighting, and just being there. And then all of a sudden, people started showing up, and I was like, "Wow, this is gonna go. This is going faster than I wanted to." Because again, I was so tired.
oh, I know. It was pretty crazy. Like I was just trying to unload everything from the car as fast as I could. I think I got there. It was right about 4:30, 5 o'clock, something like that. And then I needed some last minute supplies. So I went to Walmart and they didn't open till 6. For some reason, I had it in my head that Walmart was 24/7. And, that's how it used to be pre COVID. But in the post COVID world, no. But yeah, went to Walmart, got a few things, hurried back, and like you said, met up with you, and then that's when we started just going at it, trying to get everything set up, trying to make sure that we had good quality internet, which Smitty did a great job locking that up for us. But yeah, it was pretty crazy, and then thankfully it didn't exactly start at 10. So I know that on the event it was listed at 10 a.m., but I think people thought that it would start at around 11. So
Mm.
people were still showing up like at 10 o'clock, even a little bit after. So we got pretty lucky with that. But yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Yeah, I think if we would have started at 10, we probably would have had a little bit of of an issue having everything get ready and audio checks or camera checks at the event are way different. So yeah, definitely having the time and with it being our first one, and we do plan on doing more. With it being our first event, I think we did a pretty swell job. By the time the event was over anyway, I think I was again on 2 hours of sleep after like 68, 70 hours. So, for everybody that saw me, I was taking pictures and video. For anybody that saw me and I probably wasn't in the greatest of mood as far as like wanting to talk to people, walking around and taking pictures and everything else like that, and still getting some parts of the stream, put up like the profile pictures. It was I was really tired. So if I wasn't as forward as I probably normally would be with some people, um, I apologize. It will definitely be different. I'll definitely be scheduling it better because I just got a late start. I got a late start driving and didn't get on the road till Thursday night. But next time it'll be way different. So I would definitely be excited for the next time.
Yeah, I always preach to people to get sleep, before events and that kind of thing. But I got to listen to what I preach. So practice what I preach.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, I mean, sleep is really important. And so the next time we do this, we are getting some sleep the night before for sure.
And Smitty did do a good job with putting the location together. Pretty dope. I guess conference area slash gameplay area, and it was nice and roomy for the players because the players had lots of elbow room, especially to put their fourth wall items on. A lot of walking room too, and the sales table was great, and there was just so much space for us. It was really good. Good choice, Smitty. Looking forward to more events that you're going to be hosting. And hopefully it's going to be soon because it's getting close to the end of the year. Gosh, it's already October. Time has flown.
It's crazy. It's crazy to think about how fast this year has gone by. Like I've been playing Metazoo for almost a year now, but I've been, in Metazoo for almost a year or a little over a year. So it's kind of crazy, man. Like time flies by when you're having fun though.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And we should just get right into it with at least the King of the Chill event and what happened there was it was a 2-day event. The first day was one was in Texas, Fort Worth. The other was in Waterloo, Ontario, Canada. And 49 people showed up to the Texas one. So it was a really good turnout. 13 over in the Waterloo area. And of course, they were both sponsored by Smoke Squad Collective, Caster Society, Medikai, and also Atlas Collectibles, which is the Canadian location. And for the US, it was $50 to get into play. So probably one of the bigger entry fees for a tournament that I've seen. I think that's probably the highest bracket. I'd love to see them actually get higher because play some high stakes Metazoo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean $50 is a really good entry fee price because most other games are, well over $50 for an event like this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've played in. I mean, we're talking about events that happened 5+ years ago, but I've played in Magic tournaments that you had a 50 plus. Actually, the last one I think was $60, and literally it was just top 8 that got payout, and you're talking, I think it was like half a box for first place, or not half a box for first place, but half a box for 5th through 8th. So, the higher payouts would be, to the first, second, third, and fourth. But still, I mean, $50 for as much that was going on at this event was definitely a fantastic price.
Yeah, because Smitty was walking around blessing people with random packs throughout all the games. He would just throw a pack, Magic Cast, Valentine's, some CN1s, Hero Quest every once in a while. I mean, he was just blessing everybody just absolutely randomly. So to have that actually, it would be actually one of the first times I've seen like giveaways to players during the event, because normally, you go to some of the Metazoo events and the players are kind of second thought, where it's more the collector side, like those Collecticon events. It's more focused towards there, but really good to see that the players were the focus of the product being out there.
Yeah, we definitely like to see that. And me, as a most of the time I'm a player, but at this event I was casting with Speed Lemon. But as a player, you love to see that because it's just, like you may not even top 8, but if you get a consolation prize, like, you get a giveaway or something like that, that'll make you walk away happy too.
Yeah, for sure. And there was so much more too. So many memorable moments that were at the event that we had. I mean, some things that come off the top of my head. would be, well, I guess not during the event, but kind of for me post event, or kind of during those lull periods, was the trading that was going on, because there was a ton of trades that were going on. Everybody had their binders out, the cards out, and everything else like that. And I actually traded for a Metazoo NFT token card, and I gave up a Manaya for that. So I was super thrilled about that. Your face doesn't look great on that one. Sounds like you think maybe I made a bad deal.
I love Manaya. But I mean, NFT token cards are playable too. So, it's, yeah. I love
What about
Manaya
you? What
too
were
much.
some memorable moments for you?
So one really big one was at the right before the start of the tournament. Liam Pfeiffer, he was talking to me and Speed Lemon about needing jewelry, some sort of piece of jewelry, and Speed would not let him have his necklace. So I was like, okay, you know what, Liam, I'm gonna hook you up. So I took my wedding ring off and
Oh, wow.
I gave it to Liam. Right.
Bold.
Right. Good thing my wife doesn't know about it, but she may now if she hears this. So yeah, I end up giving him that, and in one of the pictures that you took of him, it shows it right on his finger. So that's a memorable moment that is gonna last a lifetime. But unfortunately, Liam did not top 8, but he was on. I think he was one of the first feature matches. So we got to see some of him in action. But yeah, that was one of my big ones. And then Colin Shapa, he also known as Guts Berserk. I think everybody is going to remember him because he is the guy that showed up in short shorts because he was playing
like
Cosmic.
Real short shorts.
Extremely short shorts. Like, yeah, it was the total package of short shorts. So
yeah, I got a piece of I got a photo of him from an angle from behind when he was looking at his cards, and you could see the shorts, how short they really were. They really cut pretty high, and they were fantastic shorts. I think even he was a featured match too, so you could actually see some of his shorts there as well. So he was it was full mode for him. I mean, he basically looked like the Phantom Jogger. If there was a real life Phantom Jogger, he was the one with those short shorts.
Yeah, I mean, the man has to have some balls to pull that off.
No pun intended. And then what do you think about what do you think about the Lewis, who it was his birthday, and it was actually his birthday, and he was playing first anniversary celebrations, and during the stream, when he played the first anniversary, I think it was Arthur that asked him to see the ID. He was like, "Let me see the ID." I don't believe you.
He pulled his ID right out. Yeah, that was great. Like that was definitely a memorable moment on camera too. So because I mean, who's gonna really believe it? Like, hey, it's my birthday, so I'm gonna play this card for free, and it's super overpowered. But not only first anniversary, but second anniversary as well. So
that's right.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as I found that out, I was like, okay, he is 100% going to be in top 8 and most likely going to win this tournament. Like, but
it's a huge
Flame
difference
was
maker.
really heavy. Yeah, Flame was really heavy in the tournament. So, he was playing Fearsome Critters, but he did make top 4. So that was, how can that not happen? Like, it's kind of like how Easton's birthday was the Caster Cup Sunday. Like, how could he not make top 8 at the very least? So, but I mean, Louis did play really well as well. So you gotta you got to give him credit there too.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And then probably one of the more memorable ones as far as like tournament play was the semifinals match with
Oh yeah.
Dirty Douglas Haas. And you could get into that because you were casting it live, and I'm sure you had that bird's eye view ready to go.
Well, this was actually not on camera.
Oh,
Yeah. This was kind of everybody was standing around watching, and I was on break, and I think you were casting with speed at that moment, but I was able to
okay,
see Dirty and Logan playing in the semifinals, and Dirty, like, they just went to turns. So this was Dirty's last turn, and Logan already had his last turn. So literally, this was it. So Dirty ended up playing balancing beam and dealing, I think it was like 30 or 40 damage to Logan. I'm not sure.
okay.
But he was still about 50 points off. So then Dirty played New Beginnings. And I was like, oh man, what if he's got to draw something here. And he's playing a turbo version of the Cosmic deck, his turbo version. And so I'm like, okay, what's he digging for? Probably another balancing beam, maybe, Prisoner Nightcrawlers, something like that. And he draws his hand, thanks for about a minute. Then he's like, you know what? You got it. I didn't draw an aura. So if he would have drawn an aura, he probably would have got there, it sounds like. So that is just crazy to me. Like, being in turns, and you're just hoping to essentially just draw an aura, and he couldn't get there.
Wow.
But Dirty has been on a roll lately, and I mean, he made the semifinals. He got, I believe he also got third place. So, kudos to Dirty for, he's a first place medal, second place medal, and now a third place medal all in a row. That's crazy.
Yeah, he definitely has. He's got the whole lot, and that's pretty crazy. How, I mean, just one card changes the whole match, and that's all he would have needed. It's just the difference of, damn, rough. Definitely rough.
Some
Just the
variance
difference
of
of
the
his
game.
shuffle. Yeah. Variance.
Yep.
That's what, that's.
Variance.
But yeah, those are some pretty decent moments to remember. But overall, the biggest moment to remember would be first place winner Chris Johnson from Team Dueling Brothers. Congratulations to Chris. Battling through that immense field of top tier players. And he had said something to you during the interview that this was a breakout tournament for him. How so?
Yeah, so he hasn't won a first place medal yet. He said he's top 8 before, but just hasn't won a medal before. And so winning this first place medal felt like a, kind of his redemption tournament. Also, since I guess Logan beat him back in January at the beginning of the year in a Great to Be tournament. So he was able to come back, beat Logan in the finals, and take a medal. And it was really cool because this is kind of his breakout tournament. He's never really been like, featured in a big tournament before. But seeing Chris, he's worked so hard. We can always see videos of him posting, Dueling Brother videos, doing deck techs, talking about, cards. He's put out content for months.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that this first place finish, is really going to catapult him into somebody to really look out for in future tournaments.
Yeah, especially if he sticks with that same deck. I mean, it seemed like that advantage was there with what he was playing, sticking with the Flame as Flame continues to stay top in the meta, even though we've been talking about potentially Water coming up and even Lightning making the correct adjustments to kind of push themselves back into meta territory again, because Logan coming in second place with the Lightning deck, Mr. Run It Up Collectibles, and he had kind of done or inserted into his decks what we had talked about, which included playing Hornets and making sure that he was playing the right game, playing the mind game, playing the right meta game, because he has the experience anyway. I mean, you had said before that he has probably the second most first place medals out of all the players that have played, and he has the showmanship, the gamemanship to make sure that he can continue to stay in the top tier of that player ladder.
Yeah, definitely. His list was definitely prepared for the water matchup with his main deck and his side deck, because he was also playing anti-potion potions. But you can definitely see that he was expecting, a little bit more water in the field. We didn't really see all that much water being played, which was kind of disappointing to me. But you know how much I love my water. But
well,
yeah,
I mean,
then,
we even made the prediction that Water was supposed to win. We even put our bets behind Phil, Philip Henderson with his Water deck to take down this tournament. That did not work out because Phil actually drew too many times. He drew. He kind of fell into that situation where he had one too many draws. He didn't lose a game. And he lost his first match. Sorry, he did lose his first match, but one too many draws didn't make him the Cinderella story that we wanted it to be.
Yeah, I was hoping Water would do a little bit better. Third place was Doug Lord Dirty Haas. He was playing the Lockwoods Turbo, and
which he's
he seemed to
doing so well with anyway.
Yeah. He plays that deck probably as close to perfect as anybody can. He's so familiar with it. It's kind of his own creation. So that's gonna be the best deck for him for sure. But he's been doing really well. Like I said, first place medal, second place medal, and a third place medal, all within 3 weeks. So, the man's been on a tear. But
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would expect that more people start taking on his deck if you're a Cosmic player, because we didn't see. I don't believe we saw too many guns being played. The laser beam gun upgrade that kind of took a back seat a little bit. Things were becoming more beastie heavy. People were relying more on that Reptoid ruler play as well. So, but no Greys. Even though we had kind of talked about Greys maybe making a push as well. So I guess maybe the Texas crowd might be a little behind as far as playing Greys versus maybe some of the players in the Northeast. It'd be interesting how there's different play styles from different locations, and how their decks, how play out versus maybe California, and again, maybe Illinois. It just seems like there might be different play styles and decks that'll come up as we start covering more and more of these larger events that happen there.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's one of the things about card games too, is that there's metagames in certain areas of the country. It happens in Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, all the big games. Like, a Texas metagame is going to be different than a California, and so on and so forth. So it's really cool to see how those metagames are developing, because it seems like, like you said, not too many people are focusing too much on innovating the Cosmic decks. Right now, it's more the Flame decks. So, that's probably just a Texas thing. And I'm kind of curious how the California metagame is, uh, or the New Jersey, New York area, that sort of stuff. But we can definitely see that Flame is really being focused on down in the Texas area, because if you look at Chris's deck, he's playing the green fireballs, which is pretty common amongst most of the Flame decks. Um, they're it's just the cards that have the reach. So they have the spirit trait, can't be attacked. Arena effect is when opponent's last burn counter is removed, the opponent takes 25 damage. So that's for each green fireball. So they do stack.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, he played 9 in his main deck. So you're going to have a green fireball, at least one in your opening hand. You're going to be more likely to draw them, that kind of thing. And then
nine is actually probably the most that we've seen so far.
Yeah.
So that's probably something different that, Chris decided, hey, look, let's make these more reliable, old reliable versus, the spell side, because we had seen spell heavy decks. We had seen, 13 spells, Easton 16 spell deck, but this is the vice versa of that. This is, let's go bestial, let's balance it a little bit more, so this way we could always have that board presence rather than just working on the counter side of things.
Yeah, I mean, green fireballs are essentially how you just win your matches. You have that reach damage, and then there's a few other beasties, but they help you with this game plan of green fireballs to the face. The spells that he played in his deck really signify how those flame decks are going. Like explosion, he was playing explosions, and those deal 50 damage and burn to one target, and then 10 damage and burn to another. And it only costs 2 flame ore to contract, and it is better than Unholy Fire since it doesn't burn yourself. But the thing is also explosion is, it costs 2 flame aura compared to Unholy Fire, which is 1 neutral and 1 flame. So Unholy Fire is easier to splash, but Chris was playing basically a mono flame deck splashing Morpheus, and the explosion is just a better spell. So definitely explosion over Unholy Fire there. And speaking of Morpheus, he was playing 3 in his main deck, and those are just really good answers to things that are, bigger than 50 or 60 LP that explosion just can't take care of. So it puts a sleep status effect indicator on a beastie. It's a great answer to Quets, because once you put a Quets to sleep, unless they lightning bolt their own Quets, it's staying asleep. And it only costs 1 spirit aura. So as we've seen in the past, where flame decks splash for Hateful Demise, which is 2 dark aura, being able to just spend 1 spirit aura for essentially the same thing is really good. So that's the reason why Chris played it too, is he spoke about that. He was like, Morpheus is, he felt that Morpheus was better than Hateful Demise. So, I really don't blame him on that choice, because overall Chris's deck is just very versatile, and removal spells and beasties that can't be attacked. So it seemed like it was really well positioned in the Cosmic and Lightning metagame, and he had the right deck for the tournament. I'm sure he got lucky in matches and he played well, and that's what you need to do to win tournaments, is play well and get lucky.
Yeah, the deck really seems very cost efficient. I mean, a lot of things costing 2. You talked last time that most of the time you're going to probably see if you have like a 3 aura cost or more, probably that's the only thing you're going to be able to play for that turn, up until the very probably end game, late game. So having those cost efficients, beasties and spells, puts you in a better position to answer that board. And like you said, with Cosmic and the Lightning deck, I mean, they're bringing out beasties like crazy, with 2 costs and 4 costs, especially with Call the Storm. Even though it's 4 costs, it's bringing out 2 beasties. and with the Hornet tokens and stuff like that. So very cost efficient, very good awareness from Chris to keep it in that range of average, probably average cost per card. It's probably the bigger difference maker than there, because a lot of those other spells can get pretty expensive.
Yeah, his curve was really nice because he was playing a lot of the the crystals. He ran 3 absorb aura main deck too, so that's 3 more cards that cost 0. I mean, his curve was really low. The highest was Father Sam Barbecue Revolutionary, which cost 5, and then one Adam Ackler and 3 Headless Coal Miners, and then the rest was 2 or below. So it was really well built.
Yeah, and congrats again to Chris for taking it down, and just congrats to everybody for showing up and having a great time. I know that we had a great time overall there. You know, pre-game, post-game, during game. Yeah, I mean, for me, it was definitely something that I would love to build upon. Taking in a lot of what I saw at the event and what we were doing there, and kind of making it better. And I don't know, Tuffy, how was overall? How would you say your experience was there? You know, even with the event and your experience there casting, because it was the first time you ever casted an event for Metazoo, maybe casting in general. What were your overall thoughts?
Well, I was kind of nervous going into it because it was the first time that I've ever co-commentated with somebody before. I the only experience that I have is casting my own event. I put on a box tournament. It was a few months ago. I streamed it on Twitch, and I done all of the commentating by myself. So it was really nice to have Speed Lemon, who has a ton of experience with commentating and casting events, to be there by my side. You know, I think we worked really well together. Um, but my overall experience, I loved it. It was a lot of fun, and I want to do it more. Um, the it's just a lot that goes into it too. There's more than what I even thought. And so it was just a few weeks ago, I was like, "Hey, Jay, let's cover this event," you know? And you were like, "It's we don't have too much time to prepare, right?" And I'm like, we could do it, you know?" So I was really underestimating what really went into it.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a really good crew to to get this done. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we only had 4 people. So it would have been nice to probably have double that. But there's only so much you can do in such a short amount of time. But I mean, Jay, he done all the graphics, and he was killing it with the taking pictures of the players, making sure that those got edited and put on the stream.
Thank you.
And just overall, man, you absolutely killed it. I could not I can't compliment you enough on that, man.
Well, yeah, I
That was
mean, the only
amazing.
thing I would change would be a little bit of the workflow as far as like making the production happen live for the viewers and stuff like that. There were probably a few more hiccups than we wanted to, both with audio and video. But things that we can build upon. You know, we grow awareness to it and make those changes. And I think you did a fantastic job casting. You were in the in the bushes of the deck list. You were going over everything. You were the gameplay, the coverage. Getting even there were comments on Twitch. Comments later on to our Instagram that kind of just said amazing coverage. And I'm sure the people that watch these games, they learn more, they're more educated. There's entertainment value to it as well. So yeah, I mean, it would definitely be something that I would love to do again, and um, we'll just elevate it to a new level, just always growing and always getting better.
Yep. Like I have a lot of ideas for this next one that we do, which, you know, we may be doing another one soon.
Hopefully.
We're
Hopefully.
yeah. I mean, you know, we're in some talks with some people, but yeah, it was great. I loved it, and we're gonna do nothing but make it better each and every single time. But
Yeah, and thanks to Smitty and the whole Smoke Squad crew, Caster Society for, you know, letting us in and doing the event. Can't really thank you enough, really, because, you know, they opened the doors for us.
Yeah. I mean, Caster Society let us stream on their Twitch, so, you know, more people were able to, you know, kind of see us. We're a little bit more visible there. So huge thanks to those guys for doing that. And last but not least, I do want to mention something that Smitty did for all the, you know, the crew, the judges, all of us. He did hand us a goodie bag. So what was really cool in mine, I got here we go, Steve Aoki CD, the Hero Quest, and I opened a Ghost Train.
Very nice.
Yep. But I just
definitely was a good
out.
goodie bag.
Yeah, definitely. And I did pick up one more card at the event that I really want to show off, because I'm from Iowa, and this. So I think there's only. I'll just go ahead and show it. So that's a playtester Iowa Dragon. It's a non-holo, but I still think I know there's got to be less than 100 Iowa Dragons. But I will say this, everybody, before anybody asks, I am not a playtester. So I was just able to pick this up. Right. I was just blessed. So, but yeah, it was there's a lot of fun.
Yeah, with the goodie bags too. I mean, there were just so many different packs in there. I was like, wow, I can just start a pack collection. I mean, there was just every pack, every release, every launch, every promo, almost every promo was in there. So I was like, this is great. Now I could just keep that to the side. I'm not going to open them because I already opened up all my hero quests, so I get to keep one sealed now. So that's, you know, something to look at, put on the shelf for a while. So that's cool.
Yeah, I never got to open a hero quest.
Well, good for you. And then you got a Ghost Train. So
yeah,
get hit.
Choo.
And there were also some other tournaments as well during the weekend. One of those that actually happened the next day was the Dueling Brothers x TCG Nation medal tournament over in Denton, Texas. So Chris had to basically win one tournament and then host another one the next day. And there was a ton of players there. 59 out of 60 players that registered showed up. So basically almost 100% show rate, which is amazing. I guess a lot of people were just they just wanted some revenge, you know, after King of the Chill. They just wanted to see who was the top dog, you know, seeing all the new decks. They got to adapt really quick. You get to adapt really quick, you know, change your decks up. And we had a totally different top three than we had from the day before.
Yeah, I mean, you had Antonio Gonzalez. He ended up winning, and this is my favorite part. What did he win with? Water. Oh yeah. So the funny part about that is we asked Antonio to come over to the commentary table after his match with in one of the features, and I had a gift for him. I was like, you know what, Antonio, I got a present for you, but you have to play this card. And he's like, okay, yeah, I'll play with it. And I'm like, here is a Beast of Busco. But not only was it just simply a Beast of Busco, it was a Kickstarter Beast of Busco. And he was like, no way. And I'm like, yeah, play that card. Well, the next day he ends up winning a tournament with water, but he didn't play the Bob, but it's fine. I mean, so hopefully maybe that Beast of Busco gave him a little bit of luck. But yeah, it was really cool to see that he ended up winning with water. He did beat Isaac Garcia. Watch Me Win is another name that he's known by in the finals, who also played a really extremely interesting deck that features 4 different colors between the main deck and the side deck. Basically, it was a flame deck, but he splashed for 2 water aura and 1 forest in his main deck. And that was basically because of Gassy. So he main decked 2 Gassies, and Gassy allows you to replay spells from your cemetery if you have the corresponding basic aura in play. So since he had a forest aura, he could replay growth. And that was basically it for that. But the water aura was really interesting because he was playing 2 Mishi Peshus in his main deck. And Mishi Peshu costs 2 neutral aura and 2 water aura. It's also a trap, but it has a contract effect that basically says you draw so that your hand has 4 cards in it, and you deal 10 damage to any card for each card or to any target for each card that you drew. So if you play Mishi Peshu and you have no cards in your hand, you get to draw 4 cards and deal 10 damage times 4 to any targets. So you can target, 4 tokens for 10 damage apiece. So that's a really good answer to cards like Hornets and that sort of thing. But
do you think that he was playing these more so as a trap, or that he was just playing them straight up in order to just kind of work on that draw mechanic?
I think it was probably either or. I can see him playing it as a trap in some instances when he really needed to kind of maybe bluff a first anniversary or something like that, because first anniversary is also a trap. But I think the main thing for it is probably just the extra reach that it has. So he's playing it just whenever he can draw some cards off of it. I mean, it also has first strike too, so it's a really good blocker.
Now, that's quite a lot of colors. I mean, even in the archive, he had looks like Hateful Demise with a dark aura as well. And talking about what you said, 4 overall colors, isn't that a lot of variance to kind of play off of, with having so many different colors, relying on drawing those 1 or 2 auras out of the 40 to 45 cards that he may have had in order to pull other cards that you're kind of tied up with?
It does add a little bit more variance, but it increases the power level. So that's kind of the trade-off that you have to decide, whether you want to be a more of a pure flame deck with, maybe just splashing for 1 card like Hateful Demise or Morpheus, or if you want to go, a little bit farther and play a few more different cards that does add to your power level, like Gassy. That's really powerful with growth in your deck, and Hateful Demise and all those other cards. But like I said, it's just a fine mix. Like you have to decide what you want to do. So do you want to do more powerful things, or do you want to be more consistent? So Isaac, he decided to just go ahead and be a little bit more consistent, or be a little bit more powerful here. And he was able to get second place out of a field of 59. So he was running good and he was playing well. So, that's just what you got to do to really get those results.
Can you see other decks running at this type of power level by adding more colors? Or do you kind of think that Isaac did a really good job here with Flame and it's pretty much limited to Flame?
I think that Lightning is the other deck that can do it really well, but there's two cards that really make this possible now, and that's the Wilderness promo and the Cryptid Nation promo, both allowing you to, pay only neutral aura or actually just play cards essentially for free, uh, and not have to invest those colors. So, when you have Cryptid Nation, it allows you to play any card from Cryptid Nation. Uh, what is it? For two aura, I
Two
believe
neutral,
it's
yeah.
two neutral aura.
Two
Yeah, so
any,
you can
yeah.
play that. Yeah, so that allows you to play your growth for two of any aura. Uh, that also allows you to play your Quetz for two of any aura. It allows Wilderness. Wilderness makes, I believe it's three. So you can play Wilderness and play Growth off of that because Growth was printed as a Wilderness card in one
Mm-hmm.
of the theme decks, I believe. So there's those two cards really help you to be able to do that.
Quetz was also
But
printed in
like
Wilderness as well,
yes, it was a Wilderness promo. What was that
with
for
the jersey.
the Jersey promos? Yes.
Yeah.
So it's I have my opinion on being able to do that, like with the rules change and everything that they made to where
Mm-hmm.
you could any card counts, like those cards count, let's say Quetz for any set that they were printed in,
Mm-hmm.
or any set symbol that they've been printed in. So
Well, hopefully we do see some of that because I'd like to see more of those powerful moves come into play. I'd like to see more dynamic gameplay. I'd like to ooh and ah a little bit more when somebody rips out a card, you know, tap, for fatiguing that aura and just be like, oh, what's he going to come out with? I think it's great showmanship to kind of just be able to just go ahead and throw down some monster cards that most people aren't expecting anymore.
I mean, we are seeing it. Like, there's been some decks that we mentioned in our past podcast that there's Lightning playing Slide Rock Bolter because you can use Cryptid Nation with Slide Rock Bolter.
Mm-hmm.
So it's getting there. I think that multi aura is going to be a really big thing once Seance comes out.
Yeah, we'll definitely see it more and more for sure. Now, some of the other tournaments that did happen this weekend, just to kind of quickly cover those, were the Dr. Cards metal event, constructed Terra only over in Seymour, Connecticut. That was on the 1st, with 33 players in attendance. We had Matthew Hernandez winning first place. We don't have much details on the exact pricing, maybe if there were additional packs or boosters that were included. But congrats to Matthew for taking it down. And then one of my favorite ones, which was at the carnival, was at some festival, was the Battle at the Midwest Toy and Comic Fest over in Bloomington, Illinois, on the 1st, with Tyler Brumfield winning first place. Congratulations to Tyler. And Zach Hampson taking second. And we actually had a chance to get his deck list. And you had some interesting thoughts about Zach's deck there.
Yeah, it was really interesting because it is a flame and lightning deck. So he basically played a 4 Quetz and another flame BC to note is 2 headless coal miners. But the most interesting part about the beasties that he played was the 4 jack-o'-lantern bombs. So actually, that's not a beastie; that's a spell.
Mm-hmm.
But the jack-o'-lantern bombs cost 3 flame aura to contract. They deal 75 to a target page, and they inflict burn. Or it only costs 1 flame aura, deals 50 damage and burn if you control a page with headless in its name. So that's kind of one of the evolutions of the removal spells that we're going to be seeing. So this may be ahead of the Texas metagame, possibly. If the Texas players kind of hear about this, they may start testing it out, and we may see more of those maybe higher costed removal spells, but jack-o'-lantern bombs actually have a little bit more utility because they cost 3 or 1. So we will see if this becomes something of a trend.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. As we get into more some of the final tournaments that we're seeing in these next couple of weekends, because we have Seance rolling out. Um, we'll really only get to see this meta for only a little bit longer, because things are just going to inherently change with all the new card sets that are coming out.
Oh, definitely. Like Seance is, I feel Seance is going to change the game forever from just the cards that we've been seeing right now. Comic Con, New York Comic Con is going on. We're going to see a lot of spoilers coming out here in the next few days. And probably by the end of the weekend, we're going to know everything that's in Seance.
Yeah, it seems like it. People have already gotten their hands on some booster boxes, so we'll see probably some personal rips, and we'll get to see more cards for sure. Now, as far as the last tournament that we'll mention would be the Showdown at Monterey Bay, which was actually their first ever medal tournament. That was in Monterey Bay, California. That was also on the first. And the champion of that event was Alberto Gonzalez. And he took down the first place, getting the first place medal, winning a booster box, the Wendigo sign promo, and some additional extra goodies. We've got some notables at second place: David Sandoval, Zach and Evan Andriella in the third and fourth place, respectively. Could be some relation there, not really sure. Be interesting to see another brother combo. Some family combos coming more into the mix. Maybe eventually, maybe we'll have partner tournaments or a format that includes 2v2s with family, and that'd be interesting to watch as the evolution of Metazoo continues.
Yeah, and some of the bigger games that I've been a part of, like Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, etc. There usually is some brothers that pop up on the pro scene, do really well. I've never really seen a couple, like a husband and wife pair, or anybody like that, go into a tournament and do well like that. But this is Metazoo. You never know what's going to happen in Metazoo.
Very true. Very true. We're going to take a quick break right now to talk about our sponsor, Hyperbole, HYPERBOLE. Website hyperbolestore.com. Get your Seance bundles early in advance. One of those bundles includes the Night Marchers bundle, which comes with playmats, spell books, booster boxes, blisters, full set of theme decks, even a second anniversary promo card, and 6 extra mystery items. Get your pre-order in for the Seance set now today. Limited availability. Use code word Metaversity at checkout and receive 15% off your order. That's code word Metaversity at checkout, 15% off at hyperbolestore.com. Pre-order your Seance bundle. And next up is a new segment. Well, kind of a segment that we did before last week, where we said, should it stay or should it go? And we're going to bring it back for one more week because you wanted to ask me some questions this time around instead of me asking you questions. So why don't you go ahead and take it away, my friend?
Okay, so since you're more in tune with the collector side, I really wanted to ask you something that really involves collectors and players, and
Okay.
I want to know, should it stay or should it go? What's your opinion on the reserve list?
The reserve list. Wow. Well, lots of controversy recently with some reserve list drama. Not in Metazoo, but in another game. So it's a good time to ask me, I guess, because a lot of people would be interested in the reserve list now and what can happen in the future. But as far as should it stay or should it go, I think that it should stay. I am a believer in the reserve list because I think it allows the early adopters to kind of get a W, and something that they can kind of hold their head on high to, because there's a certain value level that it comes with some of the cards. Maybe not all of the cards have reached their potential value yet, because it's just maybe unrealized. Let's say, for example, like Flying Manta Ray, being a really good example of a card that's on the reserve list that hasn't reached its full potential. But I'm a believer because of those early adopters and the fact that I think it kind of keeps the economy at a level that people can consistently say this for sure has a value, and people can base their value off of something that's tangible in that reserve list. And things like trades and things like that can be conducted off of these base prices, where if there was no reserve list, I think the players would have to drive the price, and at the moment, I don't think there's the player quantity to keep those prices pushing, until there's a big announcement that's made with the tournament, such as the towers that everybody's expecting. And I think you've mentioned before that maybe it's, we don't know if it's more of a collector game, not so much of a saying it that way, collector game versus a player game. But even so, I think I'm a big fan. I am a big fan of the reserve list and guaranteeing myself some value with the cards that I have in my collection, and hopefully that reserve list gets expanded soon. Really looking forward to that.
There's some pluses and minuses to the reserve list, but yeah, I mean, I definitely understand your points there.
With that said, now let me ask you a question.
Okay, all right, shoot.
So, should it stay or should it go? Thoughts on the 50-minute game time as a player?
Okay, I could talk about this for hours, but since we don't have that much time, so I think Metazoo needs to change something because there's way too many unintentional draws. Way too many. I think that there's a few things that they can do to solve this. One, increase the time limit. Increase it from 50 to 60. Maybe remove the 3 extra turns. To where, it's just after 60 minutes, time is called. Person with the most life points wins. Because Metazoo is inherently a slower game than most 50-minute, time limit games. So they could do that, or they could reduce the starting life points from 1,000 to, I mean, I'd have to really kind of sit down, figure it out. But I think like 750 or, 800 life points is probably going to be a little bit better because, having so many, like having 1,000 life points and then beasties being under 50 attack is kind of, it's going to make the game slow. We do see some games finish quickly, but most of the time that's going to be like, flame versus fearsome critters. I mean, we did actually see that go to the end of a round one time this last weekend too. So, I mean, it's a slower game. It's just inherently slower. So I do think that unintentional draws really kind of mess up, tournaments sometimes too, because you can have a bunch of unintentional draws throughout the day. And I mean, there was a couple players this last weekend that had a few unintentional draws, and they only lost once. They had 2 unintentional draws and did not make top 8. So, I do not like unintentional draws at all. I try to avoid them as much as possible, play as fast as I can, maybe make a few mistakes along the ways, but you have to scoop early. And then sometimes if you scoop early, you're not playing to your outs. And, or you have to, play to your outs and hope that you can somehow get to that game 3. And then we can also see people manipulate the clock more by having, these problems with the time, because, some of the stuff that we've seen this last weekend, like you can see that the time is going to run out soon. And let's say you won game 1 and it's game 2 and the time is almost over, but let's say your life points is lower than your opponent's. You can kind of play a little bit slower and get it to where, okay, you and your opponent can shuffle up and then start game 3. And if your deck is the faster deck, you can mulligan to be the first person to deal damage to your opponent and win the match because of it. So there's a lot of kind of, I think that's a negative thing to the game too. I don't think that should be possible, and fixing this problem is the way to go. Chess clocks too.
So overall, you would say 50-minute timer should go?
That or life points or chess clocks. What I mean, there's a problem, and
something that
yes.
has to do with the time. Something that has to do with the time has to change.
Yep, it's got to go. Yep.
Okay.
So now my turn, right?
Okay, sure. Why not?
Okay. So some of these topics that I've thought of is a kind of a player to collector kind of thing, or player versus collector. Mm-hmm. So this one is, what do you think of the exclusive unique promos? Like Drop Bear, Manaya, Rat King, that's really, very limited. There's under 500 copies of Drop Bear. There's under 500 copies of Manaya. I don't know how many copies there are of Rat King, but I know it's really low. Mm-hmm. So as a collector and a player, what's your opinion? Do you think that those kind of cards should go, or should Metazoo continue to print them?
I'm so torn here, because I think, as a player, I want to get a hold of them because it's something that, you can build your decks upon. But as a collector, it's like, I want to get a hold of them, but they're super expensive. For example, like the Rat King is, pushes, near or over $300. There are about 300 printed, maybe less. There could be more printed, but as far as what was distributed, there's not many out there. And so they are going for higher prices. And I would love to have one, but to drop 300 is kind of rough on a card. But, you can't have everything. So I think it's one of those things that kind of goes hand in hand with the reserve list. It's those that were able to get it are being celebrated, and they're early adopters. Because the game is still so young. I mean, we think about lifespan, where we want to see Metazoo in 5, 10, 20 years from now. I mean, with Metazoo being so young in its infancy, that we all are early adopters still. And those that do have it are going to be rewarded with this. So as a collector, I would say for me to be an early adopter, yes, I love it. I don't like the so limited ability, exclusivity of it. I would still like to see the number go up to maybe 2,000. I think 2,000 is a really good number, because it still gives early adopters. There's enough early adopters still that they get a chance to get it, one, or maybe not everybody gets one, but every other one. But as the game grows, we'll see if that's too many or not. But I still do like them I still like them overall, and I think, I guess maybe as a player, I just don't mind there being more expensive decks. I think that just kind of comes with playing the game, and I know you have a difference of opinion because the game is so young and you want to make those decks affordable. But yeah, I think I'm okay with it. I think I'm okay with it, and I kind of enjoy it.
Okay. All right. I mean, I completely understand where you're coming from, but think about this. What happens when Rat King, or wait, no. What happens when, what is Drop Bear? I think it's 3 per spellbook limit.
Maybe
3 or 4. So let's say it's 4. What happens when somebody comes up with a busted Drop Bear deck and you need 4 Drop Bears? And they're probably the only person out there with 4.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that'll way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the only answer I have. That's just going to be the way the cookie crumbles.
Okay.
If it happens, if it happens, there won't be that many people out there. I think the collectors outweigh the players in that respect. So the collectors are less likely to let them go. And if they do let them go for any value, it would be a significant value that most players won't be a partake in. And because tournaments will get larger, you won't see that as much, and there won't be that variance. But who knows? There could be cards that are printed in the next sets that trump those cards easily. I mean, anything could be broken, and we just don't know yet.
Yeah. That is true.
All right, my last one for you, and then I'm going to stop asking you questions. Hopefully,
okay.
Hopefully, you stop asking me questions. But what are your thoughts as far as their should it stay or should it go? Metazoo game tournaments, Metazoo game as far as them running the tournament themselves, Metazoo the corporation, having no entry fees in their tournaments. Should it stay or should it go?
I think it should go. The reason why I say that is because I think it sets a bad precedent for these other organizers that really do have to charge an entry fee. That some of them do a ton of giveaways and that sort of thing. I mean, look at the King of the Chill. They actually charged a $50 entry fee, and 49 people showed up, and that was more than Collecticon Kansas City. People were willing to come and spend that money, but did some people maybe stay home because there's an entry fee? It's possible, but I do think that it does sometimes set a bad precedent for the players to expect this. And I mean, honestly, I played in tournaments years ago, 10 plus years ago, that the entry fee was $50 plus, and the only payout that people seen was in the top 8. There was a Pro Tour qualifiers that I played in that were $60, and first and second place got booster boxes, and first place got a plane ticket to a Pro Tour. But everybody else in the top 8 kind of, half box, quarter of a box, that kind of thing. And we're talking, 6+ rounds and a cut the top 8. So, 10 plus hours of playing. But I do think that Metazoo does need to, even just like a $30 entry fee. That's fine. They are part of Collecticon, so I can see maybe that being a reason not to. Mm-hmm. But I would love to be able to pay an entry fee and just even make the payout even better. So
yeah, I think it also, I do agree with you there. I think it also allows the player pool to be slightly elevated in skill as well, because there might not be as many players that are just trying it out because there is one, and where they might have a bad experience because there's just, there's actually the percentage of the field has too many pros, and they may be matched up unfairly because the rankings are kind of weird sometimes, especially in these early rounds. And so you can have somebody that just doesn't have a chance, brings in a theme deck, thinking that, oh, hey, I'm going to learn how to play Metazoo. They got crushed and they never come back. It reminds me of the story when I first played Magic. I got crushed. I'm an 8-year-old little boy going into a comic book store. I get introduced to this card game and I get two-turned, and I never went back to the game again. I borrowed somebody else's deck to play. I was just getting introduced. It didn't make any sense for me to just get absolutely hammered, and then I just walked away from it completely. So you can kind of see how it is from that perspective, where somebody might get burned. And I think it just kind of changes the player pool a little bit. And maybe somebody wants to play the $30, but at least at that point they know what they're getting into. But maybe, who knows, maybe they just want to get a chance to play with some of the top players in the world. They want to sit across from an Easton. They want to sit across from a Kai, some of the more notables that are out there, just to say that they did it. And I guess maybe they'd pay the $30 anyway. But at the same respect, I think it's, I would like to see it. Because, hey, I would also like to see more prizes as well. And I do want to see the other tournament organizers just succeed, because that's the standard now. The standard has been elevated to that level.
Yep.
You don't have any more questions, right, Tuffy?
No, I don't have any more questions. Do you have any more questions?
No. Let's get right into our next upcoming tournaments, because people want to know where to play next. And one of those tournaments is going to be in Richardson, Texas. On the 8th is the Clash Before Collecticon. That organizer is Dylan Medekai Tran with a metal tournament with 40 people entered, already filled up. So that's going to be one to watch out for, to see how the meta develops for next week. But that one's got a smaller entry fee of $25. Of course, you're going to get first, second, third place medals. There seems to be some booster boxes in there. And I'll be interested to see, keeping a close eye, because I'm going to be playing Collecticon, and I want to see what that meta is going to look like soon.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting, because this is going to be a kind of a telling sign of what is going to be at Collecticon, because a lot of these players are going to go there. So, the Texas scene is pretty indicative of like what's really going to do well sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. And then next you have the Dueling Brothers Sealed tournament, the Grand Prix Series. They're going this time with a UFO in Richardson, Texas, $20. They have 20 total spots. 17 are taken, so 3 more available if you want to go ahead and sign in for that. First place does get you entry into the Grand Prix Finals. So it looks like they're having a full series where they're going to invite the top player or players from those series. And that should be an interesting one, because it's sealed. So, we like to see the sealed events, different format, different changes. I'd like to see more players, 20 players. I'd like to see those medals. 24 players is what you need for those medals. It'd be nice to see those sealed events, making sure that they guarantee those medal events.
Yeah, it sounds like if they do get enough people, they are going to try to make it a medal event. So that's going to be pretty cool if they do.
So make sure you sign up and push that limit for them. It's only a few days away. And second to last to mention would be the PokeZoo Procaster Medal Tournament. That's another one in Texas, so fully Texaned out. PokeZoo coming to Texas in Burleson for the constructed. Top 3 will get medals. There's no prizes right now, but there's 6 spots remaining out of the 30 that are available. So make sure you get into that. I know that the Procaster is something new for PokeZoo. I know that we also had a potential interview lined up with him soon, and we'll get into more details of what that Procaster means for the tournament scene. And hopefully we'll have that for you in the next upcoming week or weeks. And then lastly is going to be the big one, is the Denver Collecticon, Clash at Collecticon Denver, Colorado on the 15th. 150 spots available, 83 signed up so far.
Yeah, that's quite a few players. Usually, when you see these big events, there's about 20% of the people that do register that don't show up. So we're already looking at, 50 plus players for this thing. And I'm sure there's going to be quite a few more spots being filled up. And it is, like always, at these Collecticon tournaments, a medal event. And here's one of the greatest things about it, too. Cash prizing returns. So Kansas City, done away with cash prizing. And then Metazoo's like, you know what? Yeah, we want to pay these people. So
sounds good. Thank
you.
Cash
prizing. Right. Yeah, good for you. And we'll let everybody know why it's only good for Jason here soon. So first place gets $1,500, a first place medal, participation medal, 3 UFO booster boxes, 3 UFO spellbooks, 1 UFO theme deck set, 5 UFO release event decks, and 4 UFO blisters. I'm sure also they're going to be handing out some Seance, Collecticon packs, spoiler packs, all that kind of stuff. They usually do when it comes to the spoiler packs and that kind of thing at these Collecticon tournaments.
Yeah, I'm
second place is
I'm surprised that there isn't Seance booster boxes being handed out in this one. Maybe we'll get a last minute change to the prize so that this way it's Seance instead of UFO. Maybe.
It's possible. It really depends on what they, if they feel that it may be too early for those Seance booster boxes, but they are selling Seance booster boxes in New York Comic Con. So
right now,
yep. But I mean, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what we can do. Yeah, I might have a little bit of influence. So, and we will fill everybody in on why that is here in a moment. But yeah, I mean, second place gets $1,000 cash, second place medal, etc. Booster boxes, spell books, theme deck sets, event decks, blisters.
What about the cash? Let's get to the brass tacks. We want to know about the cash.
Yeah. So, like I said, second place gets $1,000. Third place gets $750. So, there's a little bit of a difference there, but I kind of like how the payout structure is. Third place also gets a bunch of product too, and a medal. And then 4th through 8th place get $350 participation medal, booster box, spellbook, and blisters. So if you really think about it, like this is a decent payout. It really is.
Definitely. I mean at least the $350 covers your travel costs, hopefully.
Yeah. I mean, well, see, like my plane ticket going there is like $600. So it's a little expensive, but it, maybe you can buy a couple steaks or something like that with $350. But it is also the last Collecticon of the year. And it's been a ride. It has been a ride. I've only missed one Collecticon. How many? Well, Dallas was your first one, right? For the Caster Cup?
Yes, Dallas was my first one. I went to Long Beach. I missed out on KC. But I'll be in Denver and I will be playing. I will be entering in as a player. And I will be ready to go. I'm ready to win. But you won't be, because you're going to be judging.
Yep.
Mr. Master Metazoologist will be judging.
Yeah, I got to put my Master Metazoology to the test. But I mean, I will tell you why I chose to judge over play.
Okay.
And that is the same reason why I really like to cover events than playing them right now. I mean, I would love to have played in the King of the Chill. I'd love to play in this, but I feel that this early on in the game, the events need to have as high a quality back end as possible. So judging, coverage, etc. And that'll make sure that people really enjoy their experiences while playing and watching the events.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as long as people have good experiences, that'll help make the game grow. That'll help, get more collectors, get more players, etc. So I'm more of a player. So that's what I'm kind of focusing more on is the player aspects. So, making those experiences really good. Like I hate to hear about at a tournament, there was a bad judge call or something like that. Or, how Long Beach didn't have any video coverage at all. Logan actually had to post a video on Instagram, and that was the only coverage.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to change that, and I feel that that's really important. So I'm willing to give up playing a little bit. It's hard. It really it pains me a little bit inside, but I'm taking one for the team. How about that?
I mean, for the betterment of the game, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Because, we want to make sure that this game is successful and the cream will rise to the top. And, as long as
rise to the top.
as long as there are people like you and other master metazoologists and people that can, perform at a high level on the tournament side, from the organization to the judging and everything else like that, the players will also elevate to a new level and set expectations that are just or comparable to other games that people are used to seeing, or maybe better. So it's definitely good to see. But
the judge staff.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the judge staff there is actually like top notch. So we have Kevin. He is going to be the head judge. Then there's Echo. He's going to be the assistant judge, and the floor judges are going to be me and Bats. So there's tons of experience there, and I think that we are absolutely going to kill it on the judging side.
Yeah, and I'm going to hopefully absolutely kill it on the playing side.
Oh, so Jay,
mm-hmm.
Here's an interesting question.
Okay.
What is Jay playing?
You'll just have to tune into the next podcast for next week in order to find out.
Oh, come on. Don't be scared. Tell the people. Just tell the people.
I'll tell you when you tune in next week to our next podcast, because that is going to be it for this podcast. And we thank you so much for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Metaversity TCG, on all social medias, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, whatever your preference is.
MySpace. We have a MySpace.
No MySpace. But yeah, make sure you follow us there. We're available on Spotify, so you can download us anytime. And again, like I said, that is it. Do you have any last words, Tuffy?
Not really. Just thank you all for tuning in, and we've really enjoyed this one, and looking forward to the next. Thanks again.
See ya.